Chica.
Hi, honey. How you doing?
Hi, mon ami. How are you?
I'm good.
Happy Easter.
Same to you.
All right. So I want everybody to know first as well. Bambi and I tend to get really passionate about what we talk about. And just in the event that our live gets cut off because Instagram is really strict with their time, please log back on. We just want you to see till the end. It's not going to be much longer after. If it gets cut off, join back in and give us your feedback and everything one time, right? So, Bambi, I
Hey.
have three. I have three scenarios for you, girl. I have three friends, two females, and one male. And they asked me, how it is, what I think, basically what I think about this situation and what I can do. You
Mm-hmm.
know, what do you think? What they think? They want to know what I would do in that scenario. And I said, it's nothing better than to give you a shout out and see what you think, because I know that, I mean, I do my studies, I do research on relationship stuff all the time, and I know that you do that as well. I mean, we don't just talk from pulling stuff out of the sky, we talk from proper references and proper sources, right? So
Yeah.
I really feel as though you should be here to shed some light on that, right? But before we start, I understand that we have a friend whose birthday is today.
Yes. So Khadijah Richards. Today is her birthday, so we want to shout out and say happy birthday to Khadijah. We hope that you're having a wonderful Easter with your family and keeping safe. Also, before we get right into it, let me just shout out Jazzy CCJ, Workaholic. Hi, how you doing? Shorty Michaela, and everybody else who's on. Good night and welcome to our podcast.
Nice, very well. So what I'm gonna do, Bambi, I'm gonna lay out the three scenarios for you,
Okay.
right? You could just probably jot down your little notes because I know you're doing this kind of
I
off the top of the dome.
I'm
But
ready.
nice. So you'll just write on the little points that I give you, and
Right.
then afterwards you give your advice as to what you think should be done in each of those scenarios, right? So I'm just gonna give you all three, and then you can give your advice and tips on all of them afterwards, right?
No problem.
All right, cool. So my friend, my first dear friend, Joanna. Oh my gosh. Joanna is 30 and Joanna is dating a guy who's 33. His name is Joseph. Cute guy. But unfortunately for Joanna right now, COVID-19 is going on and Joanna cannot leave the country. And
Oh,
her boyfriend is living outside of Trinidad. So Joanna has that issue whereby she cannot meet her boyfriend and they can't be in the same physical space.
okay.
Now, let me tell you something about them. They are under 6 months old. They're under 6 months old. Why is my friend Ari? Her face is surprised. Yes, so they're under 6 months old, and they can't visit each other because of the travel restrictions. But they did make that commitment to be together. They're two consenting, mature adults that are capable of having a really great relationship, and it's just this little hindrance in the way. Um, Joseph, this is the first time Joseph is in a long distance relationship. So, that has its issues with it alone, the fact that it's your first time, you don't know what to expect and you don't know what to do. Also, but as I said, they're both committed and they are both willing to do or go the distance and do whatever needs to be done in order to keep their relationship strong. However, I think that they may need some tips and some advice to strengthen that bond because of the fact that it's so new, they're so far apart, and we don't even know when they could see each other again, right? So what could they do to maintain and grow their relationship during this time when they're so unsure of everything, right? So that's Joseph and Joanna.
Okay.
Then you took your notes, right? Good. Then I
Oh, yeah.
have
Oh, you hit all three one time.
yes, I'm giving all three one time.
All right.
Then I have my friend Sasha and Kevin.
Uh-huh.
Sasha and Kevin, they themselves are a young couple, just about 6 months, just below 6 months as well. Sasha is 32, Kevin is 35. So, these are mature adults that are capable of, handling a relationship under pressure.
Okay.
Um, they both live on their own, so they have their own apartments and they could transverse between each other easily is not an issue, right? So they have that going for them. However, Kevin works as a COVID-19 frontline worker.
Okay.
um, and Sasha, she's more at liberty to work from home. So you have Kevin, who believes that they should self-isolate and not interact with each other because of his exposure to people that could potentially have the virus. And he's really afraid to share that with Sasha. And also, for him, he's a natural introvert. So self-isolation is like easy peasy for him,
Okay.
you
Okay.
know? For Sasha, on the other hand, she is going out of her mind. She is more of an extrovert. Her love language is quality time and physical touch. And, so she needs her guy. Or not that she needs her guy, but, the desire for her guy to be around is stronger than, he can manage it because he's naturally in his state of his comfort zone, and
Right.
her comfort zone is to be out there and to be in the world socializing, and especially with the person that she loves, she
Yeah.
wants to be close to him. But Kevin ain't having that. Kevin, Kevin wants to stay in isolation. So the question that was posed to me is like, first of all, should Sasha try to convince Kevin to interact physically?
Okay.
Um, if your answer is yes, that she should try and convince him, what could she do to convince him? Because just talking isn't doing anything. Kevin is really strong-minded, and he's like, yo, I don't want to, infect nobody. You stay so, and I'll stay so, and whatever the case may be, for lack of a better explanation.
All right.
Um, so what do you think that they should do? And if neither of them, if the convincing doesn't work, what do you think they could do as from a distance to keep the relationship strong, keep it going, keep it healthy, keep it popping?
Understood.
So that's two of my friends so far. I have one more, I swear I have one more. She just nah, she ain't touchy. She just loves her man, okay? She just loves her man. And I would have been guilty of that as well. I would be guilty of that too. I love my man too. Anyway, so the third couple is my boy Richard and his girlfriend. Yes, yes, Lynn, join your boyfriend on the line. The third couple is my friend Richard and his girlfriend Christy. Now, this is a different scenario now as compared to the last two. Richard and Christy, they've been together for about a year, and they live together. All right, they live together. However, they are people who've lived their jobs. They have very busy jobs, busy careers that keep them out of the home for majority of the day. And when they get in, they just they spend a little time together. But you have the challenges of having to clean, cook, rest, to prepare for the next day. So they spend enough time together to be happy. They don't fight. There's no arguments. There's no any bickering like that. They have a smooth relationship. But then COVID happened, and they do not have to go to work, and they are in quarantine together 24/7. So Richard now is explaining to me that for some reason, and he don't even understand fully why, they're fighting all the time. Like they literally, like for small stuff, big stuff, any kind of stuff, they're just fighting. Hi, Crick, they're fighting, and it's, I think he's getting to the point of not being able to handle life, and he's wondering like, wait, this is the same woman I dating for a whole year. A whole year we together, we never had all these issues. What is the problem now? So I have my theories, but I want to hear what your theories are. So he wants to know what tips and advice you could give to him and his girlfriend to introduce themselves to each other and kind of redevelop or develop their relationship, because something is wrong and they're not sure exactly what it is. All right, so Bambi, take it away while I drink my wine. Yes. Yes, I need space, Crick, I agree.
That is a lot. That is a lot.
But note that we promote healthy relationships, so we're not working with space, we're working with fixing the problem. Go ahead.
All right. So good night again to everyone that's on. Hi, Nichelle and Deshi Pai and Crick and Lynn and Miss Hello. All right. So to address your first issue with what's the name? Joanna and who?
Joanna and Joseph. They are the long distance ones.
So Joanna and Joseph.
Yeah.
They live. One is Trini.
One is Trinidad and one is in Miami.
Okay. Now forgive me if I am going over because you just put
of course.
On my
of course, no problem.
How well I could remember the situation.
Hi, Gabian.
All right. So basically, she wants to know, what does she want to know again?
She wants to know what she can do to keep the relationship growing and developing, seeing that they're so far apart from each other.
All right.
And they don't know when they're going to see each other again either.
Okay, so it's unfortunate that COVID is affecting a lot of relationships. And to be honest, I am pretty sure there are a lot of people in this position. My advice for Joanna and Joseph would be that for Joanna, try not to dwell too much on the negative aspect of the current situation. To be honest with you, if you look at it from a long-term basis, in the sense of if you guys were to get married, right? And let's say this person gets a job and the job requires that person to be away for a couple of weeks or perhaps months, right? You have to be able to adjust your situation now so that it does not affect your relationship. Now, even though this is new to Joseph, right, and he's not accustomed to this type of setting, I would like to believe and think that in the get-go of you all deciding upon the fact of wanting to be together, that you would have spoken about these possible hiccups that may come. Now, the thing is, we can't predict life, and COVID was something that no one thought would have come in the way to hamper the relationship, but it is here. The reality is that it's here. And because life is unpredictable, my advice, again, is to always be prepared. You see, sometimes we get so caught up in our feelings that our judgments are clouded, right? And we don't make logical and sensible decisions when we go into relationships. And this relationship is under 6 months. So it's another factor to consider that you must prepare yourself for disasters. Remember that line they say, even if you're scared, be prepared. So it's like the situation, right? It presented itself, you were unprepared for it. So take this as a stepping stone for life and try and practice to have a plan B and a plan C just in case that things do come to affect the relationship. However, in the meantime, because you all can see each other, what I would suggest to do is, hey, go live, have video calls. You know, if you want, you could write poems. I mean, COVID is allowing us to be very creative and bring out sides in us that were dormant.
Definitely.
So
Definitely.
she could definitely write poems, send it to him, you know, or when you call each other on, let's say, WhatsApp or whatever the forum is, you could prep dinner together, you know. Say, babes, well, I'm trying to have some salad or something. You know, we can't go outside, so, you know, make use of the environment. If you have to go outside and take a little breather, a little walk in your yard, if you have a yard. If you don't have a yard, your little gallery. If you don't have a gallery, just open your window and take the fresh air, you know. But try to make the best of the situation as is. Nothing lasts forever. COVID is going to pass, and you will soon see your boo. And if he is having a hard time adjusting, you know, try to make life seem as normal as possible. The physical part of it will come soon. So stick
So
there.
someone suggested virtual sex, and what is your take on that? That's a good idea, no?
Virtual sex. Virtual sex. For me, I would think that is based on the couple. Every couple is comfortable with something like it. So if you must know your partner, you must know what you're getting into. So if you're a freaky like that, hey, by all means, virtual sex. But if not, then don't make the person feel uncomfortable, you know. Try to not just take in consideration your feelings only, because you might be freaky and that person not freaky. But talk it out and see if it's a thing, do it. If it's not a thing, then forget it.
So basically, you said talk it out. So communication, obviously, and maintaining good communication practices is utmost importance, for sure, for sure. You have to be able to express yourself, practice expressing yourself. And honestly, I think that a lot of people can learn how to do that by doing a lot of intrapersonal communication. You learn how to practice interpersonal communication. So communication is key. Virtual things, communication, also dating online, you know, because a lot of things are happening online now. So dating online, you can date each other online and keep things a little fresh until that time comes, right?
And I would just say appreciate each other in this time, allowing yourself to grow in love. Remember, the relationship is young, and you don't want to just say, well, oh gosh, this and that. You know, you want to take into consideration, hey, it's a situation that we can't control, and your love is being tested. And because you're tested, then you would see if, you know, you all really love each other, as you say you do. Because remember, in the earlies, everything is all butterflies. But when locusts start to hit, it's a different story. You need to adjust to life and make the best of the situation. Thank God for technology. We can use it.
Definitely, definitely. So the second couple, my friend Sasha, she needs to hear what you think. So Clifford said communication goes both ways, and hearing and listening, and that's definitely true. You cannot communicate without staying quiet and doing active listening, and you cannot if you don't share yourself as well and how you feel. So Sasha,
what happened to Sasha? Her guy is
Sasha's guy is a frontline worker, and he don't want no interaction.
Okay, quick question. So he's an essential worker, but is he in the medical field?
No, he's not in the medical field, so it's not that direct.
Okay, all right. So I wanted to know that to address it, because there are lots of persons who are essential workers and would be going back home to their families, and that may be of a major concern. So I want to address two things in this situation. I think firstly, let me talk for Sasha, right?
Yep.
Sasha's side of it, right? So Sasha, I understand how you are feeling at this point. You want your man to be there with you. Um, the fact that it's this time as a woman, it's natural for you to want your boo with you and want your boo always with you. However, what I'm hearing and understanding is that your boo works frontline, um, not in the medical field, but he still is on the front line with where his job is concerned. And because of this, he's not coming by her at all.
He doesn't want to, no. He doesn't want her to come by him, and he doesn't want to go by her.
Okay. So, Sash, look at it from this point of view. One, he is taking into consideration your well-being, your health. And I don't think he would want to pose a threat to you, depending on his essential line of work. But don't think of it as he's, trying to perhaps avoid you and that kind of thing. Look at it from the angle of, he does not want to put your health at risk. And to him, protecting you, because men, their natural nature is to protect. So protecting you is not coming by you, just to avoid the possible exposure of COVID-19 to his partner that he claims to love. Right? This is another 6 months relationship too.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's a new relationship.
Right.
Sasha.
Somebody says Sasha run. Right. And the other angle that I'm looking at could be this too. What's his name? John? Kevin could be possibly scared of the whole thought of a lockdown, a permanent lockdown with Sasha, right? I mean, he loves her, but the reality of the situation is almost like a husband and wife situation. And even though Sasha might be the one saying, I'm ready for this lockdown, in Kevin's mind, yo, this is scary to him. So he's probably saying, dude, I'm the frontline horse. I'm not ready to face this, this possible, what looking like a forever feeling situation. If you understand, it's not perfect, but in his mind, it would seem that way because he accustomed with his own space. They live apart. They would see each other, yes, but in COVID, because you can't move the way you want to move or be how you want to be, and you're more on a clink lockdown kind of thing. It's a possible scare for him, so Kevin is just avoiding that situation in itself. But what I would say is that, like the advice I was given to the first couple, make the best of the situation. Sash, if Kevin is saying that he does not want to come because probably I am telling you that he doesn't want to risk your health, let's just say that is what he's saying and putting out there, then fine, do the virtual dates. Call each other as often as you would like to call each other. Express how you feel in the situation. Say, you don't feel comfortable, you don't like it because you think that he could probably wash his hands and take a hot bath and be home by you. But respect his space in this time. I think the way you respond in this time, right, because COVID is testing all relationships. So the way you respond to him in this time would show him in the long haul that, hey, when under pressure or when things face us, I could count on Sash to not get hysterical. I'll be like, babes, I can't X, Y, and Z or whatever. And she at least should be understanding to the reason. So he should give a logical reason as to why. And once he has given a logical reason as to why, I think, Kirksip space. I think I think she should respect him in that sense, and just do the virtual do calls, do the dates, read books, sing songs to each other, um, tell each other good night, you know. And if you want to do the virtual sexting too, then by all means, you know.
Mhm.
Go right.
Yeah, because how I see it, I understand both sides. You know, I understand that really and truly, when you look at the statistics of what is happening every day, and you realize how many people are dying from this, you really have to. I mean, it is natural for trainees not to take things too seriously, but you know, this is a situation where I think as the days go by, we are taking it more seriously. Even for myself, the job that I'm in, every day you know, you have to be really grateful that I didn't interact with anybody that had COVID, or even if I did, that my body is strong enough to withstand certain things. And it is a work for me because I think about my mother. I'm here with my mother right now, but I can't even be in the same room too much with her because she is older and I don't want to take a chance. Even though she's a healthy woman, I don't want to take a chance. So I understand Kevin's part, you know, he doesn't want to take a chance. I also partly feel as though it may be an excuse because of the fact that he's so accustomed being by himself. You know, that is his natural nature, and it's really hard for people to come out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of people might be saying that he has somebody else on his side or whatever the case may be. That may not be the case. It could simply just be he don't know how to change his environment from being single to being with a woman. And being with a woman now means we have to be together in a closed quarantine-like environment because of the fact that we can't go out and be out there and have the distractions of the world. We basically in each other's face. So I think with him, I understand if that is true, that, you know, he's not making an excuse. If it's true, I do understand that he wants to stay away. However, at the same time, he needs to understand the woman that he has. And as I said to you, her love language is physical touch, quality time. Yes, you could be understanding, but naturally inside of you long for that. And because you long for it, it's going to be really tough for you to always be making sensible or rational decisions, you know. And while she has to be understanding of him, he has to really be understanding of her as well, that, you know, she's not getting the love that she wants. Kevin's love language is the opposite of physical touch and quality time. His love language is more on the practical aspect of life, probably like acts of service kind of situation. He prefers that kind of thing. But he's also a man's man. Like, he could handle himself. He can handle everything. So it's like he doesn't really need, you know, to have anybody do anything for him. So even the acts of service kind of, you know, a little tough for her. But he has to understand that. And I think what they would have to do, my thing is that if she can't convince him, she has to figure out how to get somebody to convince him, because they both want to make it work. They both decided that they're going to be committed to each other. So, and as I said, what we do is try to encourage that rather than break it down. If the situation is totally bad, then we say, you know what, hey, walk away. But you don't walk away before you try to fix things, you know? And I think she's in that zone right now, where she's trying to really fix things and make sure that she gives it a try. It's only 6 months.
Yeah, but you said something that you said that she should, you know, probably get somebody else to convince him. I personally don't agree with that, because I believe that a relationship is between a man and a woman, right?
Of course.
At the end of the day, if you and I having a conversation and you and I are in a place and a position of trying to understand each other and, you know, getting to know each other, especially at this young state, 6 months,
True.
you know, people shouldn't be involved. If we start our relationship,
Yeah.
big man, forget it. That is just problems in the long haul. So I
Well,
think that's why I was saying she should respect him. If he says, if
well,
he gives a logical, proper reasoning as to why he thinks he should not come to her, he's using COVID-19 as the excuse per se. Um, it may sound dumb and dotish to a lot of people, but you chose that man. That is your man. So at the end of the day, you need to understand who he is as a person. This is where you say either we make it or we break it, right? This is where you see in the first instance of a crisis, how we're able to respond to one another, how we're able to manage stuff together, and just allow him to be the man that he is. And let's say if you give it a year and you realize Kevin on shit, then run. Kevin on shit. But at the end of the day, don't just write him off and period. Don't get nobody
I
involved.
agree.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm hoping that she got some advice with respect to how to deal with Kevin's situation. And I, yes, a whole year. Sometimes you just have to put in some time, quick. You just have to put in a little time just to see what could flourish, okay? Because he needs time. He needs some time. He needs some time. Okay, so Bambi, Richard, what you tell Richard and his girlfriend that he lives with, that all of a sudden he's not like they're having issues now?
All right. So Richard and Christy, is it right?
Richard and Christy.
Listen, I think I need to stop watching these comments. These comments are killing me.
Yeah, Richard and Christy.
So Richard and Christy have a loving relationship, as you was describing to me, right?
Yes.
They more or less have no issues with each other because they both have jobs, have busy lives, but COVID happened and they're stuck with each other in the house. Yeah?
Yes. Yep.
So they are together for a year, you said, right?
Yeah.
All right. My question to you is this. How soon did they move in together?
They moved in about 6 months after they got together. They started dating.
Okay. All right. So 6 months, so practically 6 months they're living with each other.
Yeah.
For the time frame, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Reason I asked is because remember, as I was saying earlier on, right? In a relationship, it's all about getting to know someone, getting to feel that person out. Sometimes couples make decisions that are literally too fast, right? So moving in together with someone, now this is just my opinion, a lot of people could disagree, right? But in my opinion, moving in too fast with a person before you actually take the time to understand their qualities and see the family and observe and that kind of thing, would create a lot of problems when you move in too early, right? So in this instance, where they are so accustomed with being their own individuals, and then when they come home, then they have that little time to hug up and kiss, and nothing bothers them. But now they're stuck with each other. They have no choice but to face each other. So clearly, I'm just seeing a couple that traits are unleashing in that sense. The annoying traits are showing up itself. And because it's showing itself up, they both had never had this, they were never in a position to face this before. But now they're put in a situation where they have to face it. So I would say to them that oh gosh, I'm mixing up these names. Richard, who wants the advice, right? Richard, the advice that I would give to you and to your girlfriend is that get a pen, get a paper. Start writing down the things that annoy you the most. Not every little thing, because you have to learn how to choose your battles. You can't fight for everything, right? You can't always say, hey, what's your name?
Christy.
Christy, girl, and you're listing a whole lot of things that annoy you, because Christy will say, but nothing used to annoy you all the time from before. You know, you have to be wise in how you let it know, you know, what annoys you, right? And gradually, as the time goes by, unleash one by one or two by two the traits that, you know, you're having a hard time with dealing with, right? And address them, because it's not good to sit on how you're feeling and something is bothering you in a relationship and you're just bottling it up just to please the other person. So the other person is happy and you're there frustrated. That makes no sense. So address the issues, or, you know, little by little, until you get it all out in the open, and welcome her to do the same. You know, when you guys address the issues in that sense, then you're able now to, you know, observe and move differently to not annoy the other person. Remember, COVID is a situation where, you know, we have to learn to adjust. You know, a lot of humans don't like change. And because they don't like change, it's very uncomfortable for them. You know, you love your comfort zone. You love to do what you want to do. But when you want a relationship, when you want a man, when you want a woman, it requires some compromise. It requires some humbling. It requires some hush your mouth sometimes. It requires for you to say how you feel at times. But the best thing is knowing when to say it. Be wise on what you're saying, and it's not what you say, but it's how you say it. You know, you could bring your points across, but bring it across in a loving manner. And once you could do that, your partner would receive it well. Don't get on like if you're the partner's mother or father, because nobody likes to be spoken to like if, you know, that is a child or whatever the case may be. So take time to observe, because if they have no other issues in their relationship besides the fact that they're realizing how annoying one another could be because they're always in each other's face, then it needs to be addressed. But it's not what you're saying, it's just how you're saying it.
But Bambi, one thing that I noticed with respect to that, the fact that they were happier when they were able to have individual lives, right? But yet when they and also enjoy being together as a couple. So what do you think they could do apart from those excellent points of, you know, they should write down stuff and they should talk about what annoys them so that they would know how to fix each other, but fix themselves for the other. But what could they do to still maintain that personal individual space? Because clearly there are people who could be better for somebody when they're good for themselves. You know, I mean, that should be everybody. You could only be good for somebody when you're good for yourself. And clearly they value their individual's time and space, and that allows them to be better for their partner. So what do you think that they could do in quarantine, like activities actually, that they could do in quarantine to develop themselves individually that would also contribute to them developing their relationship?
Okay, so what I think they can do is, okay, their lives are already scheduled per se, because they're both busy persons, right? So because you're already in tuned with a schedule, I would say organize a schedule for home, right? Take whatever times that you would need to do you, because even though you're in each other's presence, you still need your own personal space, right? So say, babes, we could cook breakfast, or we could cook dinner, whatever the case is, you'd like me to help you. So you could probably cook together, right? But at the same time, I mean, whole day you're together, you don't want to just always be up in each other's, you know, face. There's only so much you could do. You would have sex, then you would, you know, have sex again and have more sex. You know. But what I'm saying is, allow each other to breathe in the same space that you're in. So even though that you would come together and cook food, watch movies, play games, do little crossword puzzles, go outside and, switch up their stuff. If he's the one, if you have a dog or a pet or whatever, and he's the one always doing it, offer to help him out, and lighten up the space, lighten up the air. These are things that you could do together, but at the same time, schedule some alone time where he could probably, if he's into video games, if he's into a show, allow him to watch his Samurai X, allow him to watch his whatever shows that he like. You could have your own setup with your music, taking your music, your wine, your books, whatever. But organize a schedule whilst at home so that it does not get cumbersome and frustrated, always seeing one another. You get that time apart, but you also have that love in the midst of it all to still say, oh gosh, baby, I come by you now because I was in the room, or else singing, or else doing whatever. So I reach now. What we gonna do? Sex? Cool.
But you're really breaking the sector. You're in it. That's the cure. That's the cure. That's the cure, Olive. That's the cure. This is the cure. But I mean, my thing is with them. I think that for all of the couples, actually, communication is key. Communication, because for all of them, they need to be able to express themselves. And I am of the firm belief, a lot of people may disagree with me, but I am of the firm belief that it is important to have clarity in your expression and in your communication. Things must be clear. You cannot, ambiguity in a relationship to me is detrimental. So I think if it is you feeling some kind of way, yes, just sit down with yourself. Do I need to tell him this? Is this going to affect the relationship? Yes, okay, blah, blah. Let him know exactly how you feel. And he needs, and you have to make the space comfortable enough for him to be able to tell you how he feels. Because a lot of people can and not use their ears. And apart from using the ears, use the mind to be able to understand. And that is something that I have been learning a lot more recently, in terms of listening and the difference between listening and hearing, or listening to respond and listening so that you can change an action. Something that you always try to learn, and I'm always developing, and I'm so happy that every day I'm able to develop, and you in my life to be able to develop. Lucky I will read this comment after because it's kind of long. But the key thing is try and do activities together, for everybody, whether it's virtually or in the same physical space. Try to do activities together and try your best to ensure communication is clear, clean, and not degrading in any kind of manner, right? Bambi, do you have anything else to add with respect to the 3 scenarios?
I would just want to say that to everyone out there that's listening, at the end of the day, the moment you decide to be in a relationship, know that there has to be compromises. Know that there has to be change that you are that is going to make you uncomfortable with your norms. If you know that you're not ready for change in your life, then don't go in a relationship, and don't try to change anybody. Accept the person for who they are besides what you see physically, because a lot of people fall for persons based on what they look like rather than trying to get to know that person intellectually and understanding their mind and how they think and operate as a person. Because the number one factor there is looks. They block off one time because the guy with the biggest nose could be the sweetest person ever and treat you like a darling, or the girl with the big eye could be, the best wife. But don't base, your whole life trying to find Mr. Perfect and Miss Perfect, because there's no such thing. What I can say is you grow in love, you don't fall in love, because when you fall down, you hurt yourself. You grow in love with each other, you try and learn that person, and if you see any red flags, because we must have red flags as a individual to ourselves, be true to yourself, and if you see red flags, then bust it, right? But don't put yourself in a situation if you know you are not ready to change as an individual, because you have to learn how to compromise for your relationship. There are certain things that your relationship require, and you must be ready to make such and meet such requirements.
I like the requirements thing, and I know why. You know why I like requirements. But Bambi, I just want you to let everybody know in terms of like your source for information, your sources of information. Because I just want to reiterate to everybody that when we with this podcast, what we're trying to do is come from, yes, for entertainment purposes, but also come for give you sources that can be used as for education, something that you can use in your life. And with that being said, Bambi, could you just give kudos to whoever or wherever you would have gotten your information on with respect to this topic on relationships?
All right. So I want to give kudos to a friend of mine. Her name is Darcel. She wrote a book recently called The Rabbit Hole of You. If you guys look up on Amazon, you could probably buy it or get in touch with me afterwards so that I could probably get a link to get the book to you. But it's a really, really good book. She shares her life and situations and relationships that she would have had, and opening up your understanding to things that you could do and help you along the way for people in similar positions where they are not being able to agree with each other or being able to understand one another. So that is one of the books that I got most of my stuff from. Other than that, I would have YouTubed some stuff.
And also seminars that you would have attended in the past and stuff would have helped as well, right?
So yes, I would have gone to a few couple seminars, which was really, really enlightening and helped me to open up my eyes to a lot of things and a lot of issues that I myself had with my own being. I thought I was perfect, but a lot of things had been opened up, and I addressed it. You live and you learn, then from experience you're able to tell your story.
Definitely. All right, so anything else you want to say? So I'm so happy that everyone was able to learn something. I hope everyone was able to learn something. I will go through the comments again to kind of write a response if there were any questions that we missed during this session. But we don't want to keep you all for too long because we want to keep things sweet and short so that you'll be excited to join next week. Yes.
But hold on, just now, as I was now thinking, as like, for next week though, we have 50 first dates to talk about. So,
First date?
50 first dates, yes. 50 first. So we will discuss that now.
You want to open Pandora's box with 50 first dates? I hate first dates. Oh my god. I hate first dates. Oh my gosh. All right, 50 first dates. 50 first dates. Well, I hope everybody's excited to learn about how to be on your first date. What you should expect, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, all these different things. I'm excited for that. I need 2 glasses of wine next week then.
3.
Because to reminisce about first date experiences.
Yes.
Yeah. I've had we could do that. I have some stuff to tell you. Oh good.
Before I go, I just want to say to each and every one of you out there, train your mind to see the good in everything. Positivity is a choice. the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. This is Bambi, and I hope you guys enjoyed our first episode, and sayonara.
And I'm Jazz, and I just want you to remember to love the life that you live and live the life that you love. And we're out. Bye.
It's Kelpie Vibe. Yeah.